Hi everyone, so my video was on how to repair a house for IT project management, and this is myself, Bryce Remy, on this video. So with mine, I actually ended up purchasing a house that we are working on fixing, so you can see that just in the picture. So the first part we had to talk about was the request for proposal. One of the first things I learned for this class was 20 to 40 steps. When I looked at the project, I've seen a lot bigger ones that had over 1,000 steps, which is a lot to me, but I think the more you use it, the longer you can actually have like bigger projects. So I think that's appropriate depending on the project. But for this one, I did keep it at 23 steps. One of the other cool things I got to learn about was a timeline in this one. I did want to apply a timeline in this house, and currently I have it set at fall 2018, but as we can see, and I'll talk about later on in the project, it may not happen at the exact deadline I planned. Um, Another thing we talked about is doing an expected outcome, which also kind of goes along with project plan. So just planning for everything. Obviously, there's going to be unexpected things in the project. The other thing that I included within my proposal is a budget. So with this one, for the example, I didn't want to do any more than 40,000 in there during the actual project proposal, though. I just put in some estimated numbers that probably aren't going to be super accurate. So for the network diagram, I actually learned a lot about this. So when I first learned about it, I just thought it would kind of just be like a regular graph, but it's actually a graph showing a sequence and setting up an order. So you can actually have multiple tasks going on at the same time, which I think is pretty cool, and you can do that in real life, so it makes sense for it to show up. One of the things I learned about too is that it does show a start and end. Sometimes, depending on which one you do, it will have a different shape for the start and the end compared to regular bubbles, but not always. So like in the picture I have attached, everything is squares. Usually in the ones where like it's the end, it's usually like an octagon or something like that. But I thought it was pretty cool to learn about this throughout the whole process. The responsibility assignment matrix, to me, I learned like who is doing what, so you're defining it, and you're looking for any possible conflicts. So with mine, I just put in the one for fixing up the house. During this process, I could have people scheduled for specific duties. So like for example, I gave myself identifying plants that need to be cut down and then cutting down the plants. During that time, I could make sure that no one else was doing the exact same thing or doing something else to avoid any conflicts, which I thought was pretty nice. The Gantt chart and task list to me helps avoid any conflicts in further area, and it's extra organization. What I mean by helping avoid any conflicts is that you can see who's working on what during what timeline, so you can actually add the timeline in there, and then it just gives you that extra layer of organization, so like you can physically see once like load plant pile into the back of the truck is done, you can go ahead and move on to ripping off old roof panels. So the resource reports is something I also thought was pretty interesting. So not only can you just view all the hours that people would be working on it, it helps with over and under usage. So with mine, it seems like Peter and Bryce have a lot of the work. Well, Bill does not. But you can also use this to resource level if you really wanted everyone to have the same amount of work effort during the project. For my actual project, like doing this in real life, it's all volunteer hours going into it, so no one's getting paid. But if I were to do an actual project that was paying, I'd look into this to make sure everyone's at least getting as somewhat equal or like doing exactly what they're paid to be doing. So this goes along with the last one, cost reports. This is really big for my project because I don't want to go over budget because I want it to be profitable for me. So I can keep an eye on my budget and prevent overspending. Underspending is perfectly fine with me. Like for example, I put down on the project that my floors would cost about $1,500. I was able to shop a sale and I got them for $650. So stuff like that will help me by keeping my budget under total value cost of what I'd like it to. Personal statement from actually doing this. This house has been a lot of work. It definitely looks a lot easier to do on television than in real life. I definitely think I am not the next Chip and Joanna Gaines after working on this for about 4 months now. It's just been a pain, but hopefully all be worth it in the end. I have had a great amount of fun with this class, though. I think I have learned a lot of important skills going forward in life that I've actually used in my current job when we have set up new projects. So I think this is something I'll always be able to continue to use, as well as skills I'll be able to continue to develop and use in the real world. So thank you all for watching my video. I would like to thank you again for having an awesome class, and I look forward to seeing you all around the tech.